Hello everyone, this is Richard again for another edition of Learning with Rich. So for today's topic, I'm going to teach you how to create a basic family in Revit architecture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a family. I'm going to create a table. So this is a very simple family. Okay, so there's no fancy about this family. So what I want you to learn is I want you to learn the basic. Okay, so what are the steps that you need to do when you create a Revit family? Okay, so the type of Revit family that we will be creating is a loadable family. Okay, so loadable family, these are the families that we usually insert the model. Okay, so whenever you like, for example of a loadable family is your door, your window, your furniture. Okay, anything that you insert inside your project, okay, using a load family option here, okay, so it's called loadable family. So just in case you forgot, so we have three types of family. It is a loadable family, system family, and the last family is in-place family. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to create a loadable family. Okay, so this is a very simple family. Okay, so I'm just going to create a table. Okay, so loadable family. So let's get started. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so you see there's a new here, there's a family. Okay, so these are the default family here: architecture, structure, systems. Okay, sample system family for MEP. Okay, so I'm going to create my own family. Okay, so I can select the new here, or you can also click the big R here, new family. So it's the same. Okay, so this is now your new family. Select template file. Okay, so whenever you create a family, of course, you need to plan it first. Okay, identify the requirements regarding the family sizes, how the family displays in different views. Okay, create a new family file with the appropriate family template. Okay, so which is what I'm going to do. So for this one, since I'm going to create a furniture, I'm gonna select do we have a furniture? Yes, so we have a furniture here. Okay, so metric furniture.rft. So like what I've said, this is a very simple exercise. Okay, so as you can see, family template files. So the extension file there is .rft. Okay, the family is RFA. Okay, so this the extension file of your Revit family is RFA. Revit family template file is RFT. Okay, so I just select the metric furniture and then open. All right, so this is now our family editor. So these two lines that you're seeing right now, this is what we call the reference plane. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to create the skeleton of our family. Okay, so using our reference plane. All right. Okay, so let's say for example, I'm going to create a family here. Let's say a table. So I'm going to create a table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create first the skeleton. So I'm going to use the reference plane here. So reference plane. So I create that. You just need to click. Okay, so you have two options here to create your reference plane. By default, it's line. The other one is peak lines. Okay, so I'm going to use the line here. So I just create a straight one. Just pick 2 points. So I'm going to pick another point here. There you go. Okay. And then after that, I'm going to create another line here. Another line here. Okay. There you go. So this is now my reference plane. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add dimension to my reference plane. So the reason why I'm creating a dimension so that I can easily control the size of my skeleton, the family, okay? Because later on, you will be using this dimension to create a parameter, okay? All right, so I'm going to add first here a dimension. So dimension is this one. So I'm going to add, so I'm going to pick here 1, 2, and then I'm going to place it here 3, okay? All right, then I'm going to create another dimension 1, 2, 3, and then I place again 4. And then as you can see, there's an EQ here. If you're going to click the EQ, what will happen is these two dimension here on this left and right side, it will becomes equal. There you go. Okay, so it's now equal. So I select modify here. So what will happen is if I try to drag this, the other side will follow. See the beauty of your reference plane with dimension, right? Okay. So whenever you move the other side will move also because of this EQ sign here. Okay, so I'll just click outside. So that is what I'm going to do also here on my 3 horizontal lines. I'm going to add dimensions. So this one, 1, 2, 3, click outside. And remember to click the EQ. All right, then this one, 1, 2, I click here, 3. All right. So I'll just drag the dimension like this. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. So let's say this is what, okay, so this is, let's say for example, this is my width. And this is my, let's say this is my length. And then this is the height. Okay. Length, this is the height. So what I'm going to do is, after I add dimension, okay, so you remember the step, you create a reference plane, and then after that, you add a dimension, okay. The next thing that you're going to do, I'm going to use this dimension to create parameter. So I'm going to call this my length, and then this is, let's say, the height, okay, or however you want to call it. Okay, so let's say this is my length. So I'm just going to click this dimension, and then from here, if you click the drop down arrow, nothing is there, so we don't have any parameter yet. So I'm going to click this one, create parameter. Create parameter, okay, and then I'm going to call this parameter as, let's say this is my length. Okay, and then as you can see, the family type here is, the parameter type is type. Okay, type parameter. So I'm going to group it by dimension, and then okay. Alright, so there's now my length. So I'm going to click this also, same procedure. So you click that, you click this icon here. Oh, by the way, if you click the drop down arrow, you will see now here the length. Okay, this one. Okay, so I'll create another one. So I click this. So let's say I call this height. Okay, so you always put the correct name so that at least you know what is that parameter for. So don't use shortcuts. Okay, so much better you just make it complete name, even if the name is quite a bit long. So it's okay as long as it's complete. Okay. All right. So type. Okay, there you go. So by doing this, by creating your parameters, so you will be able to control that. If you click this one, you see there's a family types here. So that's the next thing that you're going to do. So after you create the parameter, you try to flex it if it is working properly or not. Okay, so you always do that. So I'm going to select this one, click. Okay, and then you will now see here the two parameters that I just created. So let's say, for example, I'll try to flex the length here. So let's say I'm gonna type here 1000. and then I apply. Oh, it's working, right? So let's say I type here 1.5, apply. So it's working. Now what about the height? So let's say the height is 1000. Let me try. Apply. You see? So it's working fine, right? So you always do that. So every time you create your reference plane, the skeleton of your family, you add the dimension, and then you add a parameter, then you flex it. So make sure it's working nicely. Right, so let's say this is 500, apply. There you go. So it's working just fine. By the way, if the units that you have, let's say for your table, is in inches or in English units, okay, since this is metric, so you can type the units. So let's say for the length, you have 60 inches. You just include the symbol inches and then apply. So the Revit will convert that to you. So let's say for the height, my given is 40 inches. It's okay. Just type 40 and then you include the inches symbol in case you are using a metric template. Okay, so you can still use your English template, English dimension. Just include the unit, okay, the unit symbol. But of course, much better if you use the correct template. Okay, so if your company is in English units, so make sure the template is in English. So if your company is using metric, so make sure the family template is in metric. Okay, so I apply. All right, so it's converting. All right, so I just select OK. All right, so let's say for example, this is now my table. So what I'm going to do next is I'm now going to create the geometry. So after I create the skeleton, now I'm going to add the skin, the muscle, okay, the muscle of the family. Okay, so from the create tab, so I select, here is the form. So there's an extrusion here. Okay, so I'm going to have a separate discussion on how to use these forms here. Okay, but for now, I'll just select extrusion first. I select extrusion, and then as you can see, you are now on the modify create extrusion, draw panel. Since this is rectangular, so I'm just going to use the rectangle here. I click rectangle, then I click this, 1, 2. Okay, and then as you can see, there's 4 padlocks here. All right, so much better you just padlock it. Okay, so you better padlock your sketch lines to your reference plane. Why do you need to padlock it? So that when you try to move or you change the length, of course, the reference plane will adjust, right? So what will happen is your sketch also will follow. Your geometry will follow your reference plane. That's why make sure you padlock it. Okay? Of course, not all the time you need to padlock, but it depends on the family. In this family, so I need to padlock it so that when I try to adjust the reference planes, the model will follow. Okay, and then I select here modify. Okay, right now for the thickness. Okay, so for the thickness of my extrusion, so from the properties you can change here the thickness. So by default it's 250. Because my given here is in inches, so I'm going to type, let's say 4 inches, and then apply. So that's now the thickness of my table. So after that, I just select your OK. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to select the default 3D here. There you go. Oops, it's a bit thick. So I'm going to turn on the thin lines. There you go. Okay. I can type SD for shaded view. All right. So this is now the tabletop. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create now my support. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to create the 4 legs of my table. All right. So going back again to my reference level. So nothing fancy about this family. I told you it's just a simple family. It's just a rectangle. And then for the table leg, I'll just create a 4 leg. Okay. Now, so going back to the 3D, as you can see, so this is where I'm going to create my leg, right at the bottom. Okay, at the bottom. Let me just change again to hidden line. Okay, I'm going to create the leg here. Okay. All right. So to start, so what I'm going to do next is, again, this time I'm going to do it here in the 3D view. Although you can also do it that in your reference level, but this time I'll show you how to do it in 3D. So I just selected the 3D. So this is the 3D view. So I'm just going to use here my extrusion. So I select the extrusion here. I click that. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is, here there's a work plane. So what I need to do is I need to place the work plane here at the bottom. Okay, because if I'm going to select here show, oh, okay, so the reference plane is already at the bottom. Okay, but just in case you notice your reference plane is here at the top, so much better if you set your work plane. You click the work plane, because what will happen if your reference plane is here at the top, so when you create your table leg, so you will be placing here your leg. Okay, although you can adjust it, but the proper way is make sure your reference plane is at its correct position, so or location. So make sure your reference plane is here. In case you want to change the location of your reference plane, okay, so you can select set work plane, pick a plane, then okay. So let's say I want to place it here at the top. So I click the edge here. So you will notice the reference plane now is here. Okay, so just for the sake of showing you how to change the work plane. But of course, I need to place again the work plane here at the bottom. Okay, so same procedure. I select the set work plane, pick a plane, okay, and then I just click. So make sure the surface is highlighted. Okay, so it's very important to specify the correct location of your work plane. It's just like the UCS icon of the AutoCAD, right? Okay, what's this? Okay, all right. So after placing my work plane at the bottom, so I can now select the top portion here, that one. Okay, so like I said, I can create the model also in the 3D view. But of course, much easier if you just create it on the floor plan. So I'm just showing you how to create in 3D. Anyway, I'm going to hide now the work plane. So like what I've said, I want circle. So I click circle. Okay. Okay, what about 60? Alright, so 60. Okay. See ya. Right? So it's now at the bottom. Okay. Alright. Okay, so going back to my reference level. Oh, by the way, if you want to have an exact distance for your leg, you can use the line here. So just like AutoCAD, like for example, so from here, let's say I want 200, and then I move it down. I'm going to type 200. Okay, so it's something like this, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this here. So I click, I select the move command, and then I just move my pointer to the center and then snap there. Okay, just make sure you delete again the sketch line. Okay, all right. Okay, there you go. So I'm just going to mirror this. I click this, I mirror, pick at the midpoint. Again, you can create this in your floor plan. I'm just doing it here on this 3D view. Okay, so I select the two circle. Alright, so mirror the axis. I pick here from here. This is a very basic way to create the table. Okay, of course, we have a lot of ways to make this table nicer, but I'm just showing you the basic one. Okay, right, so you see. Alright, so after you create the sketch, so just remember whenever you create a sketch, make sure it's close no intersection, and no overlapping. Just like this. So let's say you unknowingly create a short line there. If you try to finish that, cannot, right? Because there's an overlapping lines there. Okay, so you need to delete that one. So no overlapping. What else? Make sure your sketch is close. Let's say this one is not close, right? So again, if I try to finish, cannot. So it should be close. Okay? So it should be close, no intersection, no overlapping. Okay? Right. So after you create the sketch of your table leg, so I'm now going to select here finish. There you go. So in case you want to adjust here the thickness of your table, so you can change here again. Make sure you select and then you change the extrusion here. So let's say 500. Apply. There you go. See? Very basic. So I can type SD. Okay. So one thing that you need to do is you can also change here the Omni class number. You can click that. You can click this one. And then you just look here for the correct Omni class number and title. So what's this one? Equipment, furniture, general furniture. So you just look for where's the table here? Okay, so you just need to look for in these options here. Okay, table. All right, so let's say this is my sideboards. All right, so you need to put as much as information in your family as possible. Okay, then if you want to change the material of your family, so you just need to select the 3D model. You select here the material. You click that ellipsis button. Just click that, and then you look for the material. Okay, so where's the material here? Why is it I only have this material existing? Okay, so it's not installed, I think. Image. Oh, I think I need to install it because I only have this type. Anyway, so that's how you change it. You just go here. Okay, just make sure the materials is properly installed in your project, your Revit. Okay, so that's how you change it. Okay, so after that, you just need to save that. So I just save it here on my document. So let's say this is my side table. Okay, so that's it. You now have a family. So the next thing that you need to do, you try to load this inside your project. So let's say I'll create a new one, new project. I'll just use the architectural template and then I select here OK. All right. Now I select close hidden window. This is now my project. So I select here close hidden windows. Then I'll go back here, switch window. I'll go back to the family. And then after that, I'll just load this into that project. So I select here load into project. So the category here is family. That's correct. Okay, so load into project. There you go. Right. Just pick. So you now have a family in your project. Okay, so let's say I'll create a wall here. Okay, right. Okay, so this is now your table. See? Okay, now if you want to load it using the load family, so you just need to insert it, load family, and then you just look where did you save it. Okay, so I save it in my documents. You see, just select that open. Okay, so it's now loaded. Anyway, it's already loaded because I used this option. Okay, I used this option to load it, but in case you did not use this one and then you already saved the project, so when you have an open project, so that's how you load it. So since the category of this is furniture, so for you to be able to insert that, so you need to select the component here and then select place a component. So it's under the place a component because as you can see, there is no furniture command here. Okay, so you need to select component, place a component, and there you go. So if you check the properties, so there's your side table. Okay, so this is a basic family. Okay, so this is not an advanced one, it's just a basic one. Okay, all right, there you go. So that's how you create your family table. Okay, so hopefully you learned something from this video. If you have any comments, suggestions, you can just put it on the comment section below, and just like what I always did, I will get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, so don't forget to like this video or subscribe to my channel, so I'll be fired up to create more videos. Okay, and until then, take care.